Hey YouTubers, how you doing today? Welcome back to Dre's Media Corner. Today I'd like to go into another area that I dabble in a little bit, and that's drones. I just recently passed my Part 107 FAA testing, which certifies me as a commercial drone pilot, which basically says I can make money doing aerial photography and video footage. This area here, I watched a lot of videos. I'm gonna do a couple of shout outs right quick here to Tony Northup, B-roll, and a couple other YouTube sites I use to help study. But they were kind of like a companion piece to the main course of what I was using to study. The pilot's remote pilot test prep was a good source, an excellent source, as by the way. And the book that comes along with that is the Airman Knowledge Testing Supplement for Sport Pilot, Recreational Pilot, Remote Pilot, and Private Pilot. Both of these books you can get off of Amazon, I think for about $19 for the books together. The second book, the Airman Knowledge Testing Supplement for Sport Pilot, is essential because this book is the book that you are given at the test site. So you need to know what's going on in this book. This book has all the sectional charts that you will be using in the test site. You know, there's no way you can get around it. You can watch Tony's video 3, 4, 5 times in a row, and it doesn't replace what you need to know in this book right here. The reason why I say this, maybe it's just a difference in how I learn and how you may learn, which is always key. Know how you learn things. Some of us are very audio driven, some of us are video driven, so to speak. I'm a little bit of both. I got to be able to hear it and also see it, put my hands on it for me to really know it. And that's what's key anytime you go to testing, is that you feel familiar with the material and the information that you're being tested on. There are certain things on the test that you just simply have to know. Just like different people point out about the different blood alcohol count and things of that nature, certain things about airport operations that you will have to know in your head. So you need to write it down, put it on 3x5 cards or whatever you got to do, post on the refrigerator each morning, get those numbers in your head so you'll know it. So when you see the question, you know exactly where you're at, because sometimes there's not going to be you'll throw away the one question, which is obviously wrong, but the other two may be very close. So if you don't know it, you better learn it. But I would definitely cannot emphasize enough about this Airman Guide. What it does is it gives you the exact same charts that you're going to see on the test. And by you going through these charts, going through the prep book, which is questions that come straight off the FAA testing through this prep book, makes you become familiar with the charts. And that's what I'm saying is key. That when they talk about going to figure 22, which is a certain area, that you'll know what's around the Dallas-Fort Worth airport area, or you know what's up in the North Dakota area near Minot, and you know what's going on in the Virginia area near Elizabeth City and so forth. You know exactly what's in that area. So when it says go to section 22, area number 1 or 3 or whatever it may be, you kind of already know that there is going to be a tower there, or there's going to be outer circle there, or you know there's automatically going to be most of the airports in the area are going to be Class E airspace, because none of them have a manned tower and all this kind of stuff. These are things that help you relax and go through the anxiety part of the testing. There's a few curveballs in the test. The things that were not covered in the test booklet, things that were not covered in Tony's video or anybody else's video that I saw. And it's basically, if you went and got the Airman's Guide, which I do have that also, it might be in that book. That is a very large book, very thick, with a lot of information from, excuse me, airport operations and so forth. But like a lot of times you can figure that out with a lot of common sense. But this book here, with the sectional charts in it, with the test book, I would say is what would get you through the test more than watching as many videos. The videos are nice. If you like listening to videos, I watched, I should say, Tony's video at least 5 times. Went through his video. I watched B-roll's video, which is strictly about sectional charts and information on there. And each time I watched those videos, I actually learned something new. If it's not sinking into my head of what Class D airspace was the dotted blue line and not just the blue line itself. So in closing of this video here, I just want to tell you, you hear a lot of people tell you about the tips and tricks or whatever. This is no different than taking a test in high school, college, whatever. If you study for the test, you prepare yourself mentally for the material, you'll be successful. It's not a overburdened test, but you need to study the information. There is no quick tips. I mean, test taking is test taking. Like anything else, if you get a chance, you answer the questions go back and answer the ones you weren't sure about, recheck ones that you're not sure about, but don't second guess yourself to the point that you talk yourself out of an answer. That's also crucial. So don't think that, I'm not sure about this and that, maybe I'll go back, or you end up convincing yourself to change the answer, and next you missed that question because you knew what it was from the first place, but because you were not confident in what you learned, you changed your answer. And that can hurt you just as much. Because the key thing here is it's a 60 question test. You got to score 70 and above. So you have a window somewhere around 14 to 16 questions you can only miss. So like I said, you want to make sure you're comfortable with the material. So that's my advice to you. I encourage all drone pilots, because looking down the road, as a friend of mine always said, you want to shoot where the deer is going to be at, not where the deer is standing right now. And coming down the road, I only see when it comes to drones and so forth, now that we have to register all drones above 0.55 pounds, that everyone's going to need to acquire some type of licensing. You might not have to be commercial license or whatever in the Part 107, but I can still down the road envision that there will be some type of testing under the FAA for some type of operational use of drones, unless it's under that weight class where it's considered a toy. So my advice to you is just go ahead and get ahead of the game. Stop trying to fight the system and go out there do things unauthorized or outright illegal, and try to make this hobby or this industry us be able to make money from it as more of a positive aspect of part of our society, instead of it being a negative. We have more negative news that comes out, which is always obvious, about the operations of drones as far as privacy and people saying they're getting injured, and none of that's, I would say 10% or less than 10% is probably accurate, and so to speak, but it's the perception. As I always say, the optics of what's going on is always more important than what is actually going on. So we show ourselves to govern ourselves, to, as we say, police ourselves, to be better operators of our equipment. I think the attitudes within our society, not just here in the United States, but globally, will change. And I will see that maybe regulations under the FAA and overseas, I think it's the CCA over in Europe, or so to speak, over in the UK, their regulations may become a little more less restrictive and allow us to be able to share the airspace with the regular public, with manned aircraft and everything else out there, because our society is becoming more dense. We populate it, we're spreading out more, and people are moving out further. So basically, trying to find open areas to fly are getting smaller and smaller. So we got to find a way to incorporate ourselves within our societies and where we live. And that's going to be key to our future in this industry. So once again, thank you. Please subscribe. I go everything from audio, music, outdoor home theater. Now I got this drone thing going on. If you're interested, I do have a video out there about me working out in the gym. I don't coach anybody because everybody's body's different. But hey, if you like my content, hit the subscribe button. Follow some other videos. I like to hear comments back and forth, because this is a discussion that needs to go on. I listen to the guys on Drone U, the discussions they have, which are very important. I advise you, if you're just trying to keep up on industry topics or what's going on, tune into Drone U. They cover a lot of topics. It's not just about just flying drones, but actually what's going on in the legislative side of it and where this industry is headed. So like I say, always keep yourself informed. That way you can have informed opinions and informed attitude about this industry itself. Thank you very much, and I always say, hang on for the ride.